welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be talking about quite a serious matter actually, so I kind of feel bad that I'm doing quite a down and gloomy topic, but I think it really needs to be discussed. And I'm currently going through a situation at the moment which I wanted to share with you and explain a little bit more as to how I got my debt, how debt affects me today, and how it will affect me for the next few years, if that makes sense. So a little backstory to how I got into debt was, most of you probably know if you follow my social media or my blog, that I was in a really bad relationship and he left me in 7 grand's worth of debt. How he left me in it was he had debt from a previous relationship. Yeah, fell for that one. And I loved him at the time, I wanted to help him out, and I didn't really want bailiffs knocking at my door every week. So I decided, being the sensible grown-up person, that I would take out a personal loan in my name to clear his debt and he would pay it off every month. And it worked. He did it for a few months and everything was fine. But when the relationship broke up, and that was due to debt, I believe, and him as a person, but when the relationship broke up, he didn't pay that anymore, and I got the defaults, I got everything, and I've been like lumbered with everything basically. So I just wanted to share with you what I've gone through and how it still affects me. Even though I do all of this, it does still affect me. So how I got my defaults were because when we split up, he didn't make the payments, and because I was really ill at the time because of my depression, I was working like part-time at Next, and it just wasn't even enough to cover the minimum payments and be able to travel to work for the month and feed myself for a month. So I was really lucky that I could move back in with my parents, as I know that's not an option for a lot of people, and since then I've been clearing my debts, and yeah, the debts are cleared, but I've still got the bad credit, and I'm still gonna have that for 6 years, well 5 years now. I'm still gonna have that memory, that mistake haunting me for the next 5 years. I wish I knew what I knew now back then, but we don't know that. We don't think of what if we break up, what if something would happen, like you don't think of that at the time. And I just urge anybody thinking of taking on somebody else's debt, or whether they're family, a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband or wife, whatever they are, just think of the repercussions, think of every single bad outcome that could happen. And if you know with your whole heart that they would pay you back, they would support you, whatever, then it's your decision. But I would personally make sure you have a contract drawn up to make sure that, like, if anything were to happen, that they would actually legally be responsible for paying you back, because I didn't do that. And then when we went to the courts and everything, to go through courts, which are really expensive, it was actually more than the actual debt, I didn't have much to stand on. I had the proof that it was his debt, of course I did, but I didn't have proof that he was paying me back, if that made sense. So definitely get that, have a legal contract drawn up between you both, and if it's your partner and they're pressuring you and saying like, why are you doubting me, blah blah blah, like, don't listen to them. Just explain, like, you have to cover yourself, it's your debt at the end of the day, and you need to cover yourself, and no matter how much you love someone, they should understand that. And I think the main reason I took the debt out, and maybe people think, oh well, that was really stupid of you. Yeah, it was really stupid of me, but at the time I was being like emotionally pressured into doing it, and I didn't see that. And it was only when I sort of like spoke to my counsellor and like actually spoke through everything that happened in that relationship, it was really clear that that's all he wanted from me. He just wanted to like dump the loan and like bugger off basically. So I do look back and I think it's kind of my fault, but it's not my fault at the same time, because I was in a really bad place. But then I kind of think the bank should have seen that. I worked for that bank, and that bank should have seen how I was. What many people don't know is I had to learn all about it when I did the whole lending thing. You have to give the customer a deep sort of analysis, I guess, of why they want the loan, what they're going to spend the loan on, and things like that. And if you think that Like as an individual, if you don't believe that person's going to pay back the loan, or you don't believe it's fair lending, you're not actually meant to give the loan out. I was completely honest with what I wanted the loan for, completely honest, and I still got the loan, and I don't think I should have even been allowed to have the loan, but it's done now. So that's also something to consider. When you go to a bank, they're not just going to give you it to clear someone else's debts. They're not. And I'm not saying like be sneaky or lie to people, but there's a reason why they don't allow you to take out loans for other people. There is a reason for that, and this is probably the reason why. Although I have 2 defaults and I'm going to have that on my account for the next 5 years, no matter how much good credit I have, because my credit has actually really improved since I've been like, I've got a credit card now and I've been putting things on that and paying it off, and I've had a few other credit things, and my credit has seriously boosted, which is brilliant. But those two defaults are still going to drag me down, and I'm currently going through an application of renting a property with Mitch, and literally it is so, not soul destroying, but so difficult to explain to someone that it's not your fault. And people understand, people get it. Like, you know, I'm really lucky that the estate agents, like, they've actually gone through something similar themselves, so they completely like sympathise and know like what's going on. And I completely understand that 2 defaults isn't the end of the world either. There's people with CCJs, bankruptcy, and a lot worse things. But you know, my debt is with a debt collectors, so it's not like brilliant. Having 2 of them isn't brilliant, but it happens and you have to just deal with it. And that I can't like bury my head from it. I can't, there's nothing I can do really for the next 5 years now. So it's there, I've got to deal with it. But it's so frustrating because that relationship was 2 years ago nearly, and I've done a heck of a lot since then, a heck of a lot. You know, I've cleared the debt, I've created this amazing like passion of mine, and without that debt, without that whole situation, I wouldn't be doing any of this today. So in a really twisted way, it was genuinely the best thing to ever happen to me. But it's really hard to see that when you're going through the application and, you know, they're like, oh, you're probably gonna fail, you're probably wasting like 250 quid's worth of referencing fees, and you're probably gonna lose the house you love because of your ex. And that's hard, that is really hard. But no matter what I do, they're still on my account, and it's going to affect me for the next 5 years. No matter what I do, I can't apply for a mortgage, I can't do a lot of things. And a lot of people will sit here and think it's just credit, what's the big deal, private rent. In Dorset, in Dorchester, there really isn't a lot of private rentals. You know, I have been scouring the internet, there really isn't much. And we've actually been really lucky to find a place which we absolutely love, but it's with an agent, and it's not the end of the world if I don't get accepted. I would just hate for him to influence something that will make me happy, because I'm in a better relationship, I'm in a better life now, and that's behind me, and I want it to be behind me, but I'm constantly reminded. And the reason why I wanted to do this video was to show to you just how much it does affect me. And a great idea, a great gesture I did for someone 2 years ago will affect me for 6 years of my life, which in the grand scale of things isn't, you know, massive, but it's massive in my life now. It affects your lifestyle so much. Don't just think of it as, oh, well, I could end up with a couple of grand's debt. You know, I can pay it off. Well, what happens if you lose your job? What happens if you develop depression? Because depression is so common with debt. So common. If you develop depression and can't work, how are you going to pay off that loan? And I was a really strong person. I used to like be really headstrong. I never had a panic attack in my life. But because of that situation, I did develop depression, and it was the worst time of my life, and I couldn't work. As much as I wanted to, I couldn't work. So I couldn't afford to make those payments when he didn't, and that's why I got the defaults. And you need to think how it will affect your relationship as well, because I genuinely think it affected our relationship loads. There was a lot of pressure on the relationship as soon as I took that loan out. And when someone owes you money, it does put pressure on the relationship. No matter how much you think it won't, it does. And I'm pretty sure that people watching this, I hope, will comment down below and, you know, share their experiences and share their thoughts on the matter. But what I hope with this video is that it raises awareness of just how much debt affects you, not when you're paying it off, but after as well, and how much emotionally draining it is as well. So I just want you to think before you do it. That's it. I'm not saying don't do it, I'm saying just think before you do it and think of every single outcome. So if you end up like me, you're prepared. If something bad happens, like, you're not going to be screwed over, you're not going to be like suffering for it for the next 6 years of your life. It's so easy for young people to get drawn into credit. You know, a lot of people I know are in debt and they're at my age, like in their 20s, and I think it's just the way the world's going. You know, everyone has to have the latest things, and let's just put it on finance, let's just have a payday loan, and that's not the way to do it at all. A lot of people have the mantra of, if you don't have the money you can't afford it, and that is so true. Fair enough, I have a credit card, and things like moving house is brilliant for that because you can put things on there and pay it off the next month. Like, that's always what I would do now, and I've certainly learned a massive lesson from this, and it's changed my shopping habits, because I used to spend ridiculous amounts and not care how much things cost. But now, from being frugal, from being thrifty, from learning how to save money, 200,000 people are benefiting from it, which is incredible. And I know, like, we're a community, I'm not doing it just by myself. A lot of people send in deals, a lot of people send in a lot of things. So it's brilliant that other people are getting involved, and all of us are in the same boat really. We all want to save money, we all have a reason why we want to save money and why we've started saving money, and this was mine. So I hope I'm gonna get this house. I'm finding out probably today actually whether I've passed, failed, whatever. So I'm gonna film 2 endings to this because I honestly don't know how it's going to go. I'm gonna film a happy ending and a sad ending, and you will see which one it is. And obviously I hope it's good news. Obviously I hope that that prick like hasn't ruined this for me, because I love that house and I'm so excited, and I've already bought stuff for it already, so that's kind of important. And it would just be brilliant to show a happy outcome of debt to people, to realise that it's not the end of the world. And I've probably been really down and depressive in this video, but I think people need to see honesty. They need to see the honest outcome of what happens when it goes wrong. It happens to men as well. I don't just want to sit here and say all men leave women in debt, because that's not the issue at all. I know a bloke who got left with a car debt from his wife and she walked out on him, and it can happen to absolutely anyone. Even families do it to each other. It's not just relationships. Don't rush into anything and cover yourself, because you are the only person who will be responsible when they want their money. So you need to make sure you're covered. I hope this video has helped some people maybe come to a decision or make them think a little bit more. I hope other people share their experiences. I really do. I hope, you know, obviously if you want to, please comment below, because I'm sure other people want to know other people's opinions and what's happened to them, etc. You just need to be mindful of what can happen, and defaults are just probably a minor thing of what can happen, but even a minor thing like this has affected me so much already, and that was only like a year or 2 years ago, so I've still got another 4 to 5 years of this to come, and it's just gonna be such a pain. So I'm gonna end this video here. I'm gonna obviously put the outcome of what's happening at the end of this video for you. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you in my next video, which I promise will be a lot more lighthearted and happy. So I'll see you next time, guys. Bye. So it is a couple of tense days later now. Our application went in nearly a week ago, and I've just heard back that we got the flat. Yay! So I'm really excited, and everybody I've told, because I told like our close friends and family first, said, oh, does that mean you're going to be doing home hauls and vlogs? And I was like, oh yeah, that does mean I can do like blogs and vlogs on all the home stuff I get. So watch out for them. They're going to be super exciting. We're moving next month in November, and I'm sure I'll keep you updated all along the way. But I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video, and it proves that there is happy endings to death.